This year, the Academy Board of Governors has voted to award an honorary Oscar to the great Indian filmmaker Satyajit Ray.
Satyajit Ray, one of the perfectionist filmmakers in the cinema world, was born on May 2, 1921 in an intellectual and affluent family in Kolkata. His grandfather, Upendra Kishore Ray, was a distinguished writer, painter, a violin player, and a composer. He died 6 years before Satyajit Ray was born. His father, Kumar Ray, studied printing technology in England and joined the family business. He was also a good poet, story writer, and an illustrator. Sadly, Kumar Ray fell ill the year Satyajit Ray was born and passed away. About 3 years after his father's death, Satyajit and his mother had to leave their house because of the money problems and moved in with Satyajit's maternal uncle's house. His mother thought needlework to supplement the household income. Here he would also meet cousin Baijoya, his future wife. At an age of 8, Satyajit joined Baligunj Government School. Until then, he had been taught by his mother. Satyajit was an average student. During his school days, he became a film fan, regularly reading Hollywood trivia in magazines and listened to Western classical music. He would often pick up gramophone records at flea markets. Even during his college years, at the cost of academics, Satyajit was spending more and more time and energy in pursuit of his two interests: watching films and listening to Western classical music on his gramophone. He graduated in the year 1939. At the age of 18, he decided to give up further studies. He planned on becoming a commercial artist. His mother, however, felt that he was too young to take up a job. She suggested that he should join as a student of painting at Shantiniketan, an institute run by Rabindranath Tagore. After initial resistance, he agreed. During his time in Shantiniketan, he discovered the Oriental art, Indian sculptures, and miniature paintings, Japanese woodcuts, and Chinese landscapes. Till then, his exposure to art had been limited to only the Western masters. He traveled around India, which had artistic interests, along with his friends. The tour drew his attention to use of small details in Indian art to signify a bigger meaning, a quality that his films would later demonstrate. During his stay at Shantiniketan, he was missing his city life and his inability to see films. He missed three major events of his life, which had occurred in Calcutta: Quit India movement, Citizen Kane that played in Calcutta only for a few days. The day Rai left Shantiniketan for good was the day Japanese bombed Calcutta in the year 1942. In April 1943, Satyajit Ray joined a British-run advertising agency as a junior visualizer. He spent next 13 years here until he became a full-time filmmaker. Rai was fascinated by typography, both in Bengali and English, and produced many innovative advertising campaigns. He won on an international competition in 1971. His talents in typography and illustrations were also seen working through end credits and the publicity posters of many films. The aftermath of the World War saw Kolkata filled with American GIs. The cinema were showing the latest Hollywood productions. It provided Rai and his friends a feast of films. In 1947, Rai and his friends co-founded Kolkata's first film society. Battleship Potemkin was the first film they screened. Soon, Rai started writing and publishing articles on cinema in newspapers and magazines, in both English and Bengali. Meanwhile, Rai had developed another interest: writing screenplays for his own pleasure. He would take story or novel for which a film had been announced and would write a screenplay. He would then compare his screenplay with the finished film. The inspiration to make a movie came from Jean Renoir, a well-known French film director who came to Calcutta to scout places near river to shoot his film. Rai became an assistant and worked along Jean until the completion of the movie. Rai, along with his wife, was sent to London by ship on a business trip, which proved to be a turning point. During his 16 days journey in sea, he made some notes on making his first feature film, Patra Panchali. During his 6 month stay abroad, Rai saw about 100 films, including Vittoria De Sica's Bicycle Thieves. This movie made a profound impression on Rai. After returning to Calcutta, Rai decided to do his own independent movie, Padar Panchali. But he faced many problems like financial support, technical problems. Back in those days, films were shot indoors in studios, and Satyajit Ray couldn't afford a studio, so he shot most of the scenes outdoors. Once, a herd of cows had feasted upon flowers, which were needed for a scene, so he had to wait until next season for a new flowers to grow back. You have to note that during the middle of shooting, Satyajit Ray was to run out of funds and sometimes had to use his personal money. Once he even pawned his wife's jewelry to make a movie. He was not still satisfied with the budget and he approached West Bengal's chief minister for support. They agreed to fund him. Finally, the movie was made and it was a massive success. Later on, it even entered Cannes Festival despite oppositions and won a Best Human Document Award. Along with Patra Panchali, Satyajit Ray went on to direct Aparajito in 1956 and Appur Sansar in 1959, which formed the Appu trilogy. Ray directed 36 films, including feature films, documentaries, and shorts. For his work, he received 32 National Film Awards by the Government of India. Ray is the second film personality after Chaplin to have awarded an honorary doctorate by Oxford University. In the year 1992, Satyajit Ray received a special Oscar for lifetime achievement in filmmaking, and he gives a speech from his deathbed. Sadly, few days later, he dies of natural causes.